I guess I'm doing a readathon right now. Very unplanned. I'm late to the game. Romanceathon started 2 days ago. I only found out about it yesterday. But yesterday, Miranda came over to my backyard, social distancing, don't worry, and she gave me an early birthday present. This entire quarantine, I have been reading fantasy books. I've been rereading fantasy. I've reread a bunch of Cassandra Clare and then Chain of Gold. I read Sarah J. Maas's new book. I just finished a reread of the Throne of Glass series literally last night. And my plan originally was to go straight into rereading A Court of Thorns and Roses, but I love reading contemporary in the summertime, and I'm kind of feeling this Romanceathon vibe. So the first reading sprint live show of this readathon starts in 5 minutes. So I'm gonna pick this up and I'm gonna start reading it, and I'm very excited to read this book. I've wanted to read this since it came out, from the moment Christine was making writing vlog, there it is, videos. Very excited to start it in 3 minutes and to be a part of this readathon. Let's do it. There's another readathon, Fantasyathon, happening this week, and the two overlap, and I was planning on doing that one, so I'm gonna kind of figure this out as we go and as I get library books. So I couldn't figure out the live show, but it's okay because the book is here, we're ready to go. It is now pouring rain, really setting the mood, because my favorite thing to do on a rainy day is crawl in bed, have my tea and honey with a good book. So we're really just setting the mood. Perks of living in a rainforest. I'm only on chapter 4. The rain has already stopped, but I think each chapter is named after song titles. And I love how it took me seeing I Think I'm Gonna Like It Here from Annie the musical to realize that. Oh my gosh, I'm laughing. Christine always calls people out in her book reviews for the cliche YA sentence, I let go of a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. So she writes, I expelled the giant breath I'd been very aware of holding for the past 30 seconds. I love this new hot take. The main character, Shane, writes a book blog, and it has a weird name that is very reminiscent of Full in the Bananas 20. I feel like I'm reading about Christine. It's really cute. It's been a really long time since I've tried to do any sort of book-related reading marathons, and I've come to terms with the fact that it's not something I'm good at. I started this book 3 days ago and I am almost done, but that is only because I basically read over half of the book today. I'm almost finished, again, but better. I'm getting a lot of like Gail Forman vibes from it. The second half of the book has been really easy to read without putting it down. I'm really enjoying it now that I'm more in it. And then today is also the start of Fantasyathon. This overlap is messing with my head a little bit, but I'm listening to an audiobook of Black Girl Unlimited by Echo Brown. Now that I'm actually listening to it, I'm realizing it's not really fantasy, but it's categorized as like fantasy realism, so I'm still taking that one. And for Fantasyathon, this book covers 3 of the tasks. It is a diverse fantasy about a young Black woman by a young Black woman. It is a debut novel, and I'm listening to the audiobook, which is something I don't do very often. I'm slowly starting to get into audiobooks, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of them. I do like audiobooks when it's narrated by the author, so I actually prefer audiobooks when it comes to biographies or memoirs. And in the case of Black Girl Unlimited, it is narrated by the author Echo Brown, so I'm really enjoying hearing her voice as she's telling these stories. So that's my fantasy book right now. Almost finished the first book of Romanceathon, which ends in like a couple of days. we'll see if I can do any more binge reading. Next on my list for Romanceathon, which I'm thinking I'll start tonight, we have Yes, No, Maybe So by Becky Albertalli and Aisha Said. That one covers, I think, a few on the Romanceathon list. It came out in 2020. These are new to me authors. And then my next goal is I do want to read Casey West's newest book, Moment of Truth. I got this one from the library as well. It is the third book in a series by her though, and I have read the first two books. By series, I just mean like the characters overlap. But the first book in the series is Love, Life, and the List, which is one of my absolute favorite, and I think it's my all-time favorite Casey West book. And I just bought that one recently and I've been waiting to reread it, and there are 5 words in the title. So I think I'm going to reread Love, Life, and the List, and it has one of my favorite tropes. The premise is that our lead protagonist is in love with her best guy friend. I love it. So I'm going to reread that one. That will check off another task, and then I think I'll get to Moment of Truth. So that's 4 books to get through in the next, 3 days? Yeah, that's probably not gonna happen, but if I can get through 2 more, I think that checks off all the tasks. And then I don't really know what to do about fantasy. I think, it's so hard, Fantasyathon. I have 3 of the tasks. There's only 3 more, so I still have to do, I only have to do 2 more tasks for Fantasyathon. So if I start a fantasy book, and I've been really wanting to reread ACOTAR because I read all of Sarah J. Maas's books in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series as they were coming out, and A Court of Mist and Fury is one of my absolute favorite books of all time. I always say that Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell is my favorite like contemporary standalone, and then A Court of Mist and Fury is my favorite like book from a series because I can't decide between them, and I've gone back and reread chunks of that book before. I have never read the series from start to end since the books were coming out, so I just did this huge Sarah J. Maas marathon over the past like 2 months where I read Crescent City and then I reread the Throne of Glass series, and I was planning on reading ACOTAR, so that would cover Hype Train Fantasy. If I can get through the first book, then I can do Read On in a series if I do ACOMAF, so that's a lot of books for me. I'm a very slow reader. I'm realizing more and more, because I used to get through so many books. Like middle school, early high school, I could read like a book in a day, whereas now there's too much going on, even in quarantine. But I also think back then, I was only watching like a little bit of BookTube, not really that much. I was maybe watching like 2 or 3 booktubers. I wasn't watching anything else on YouTube. I wasn't making YouTube videos. I wasn't writing my own stories and like focusing on those worlds. I wasn't editing videos. That's like a lot that has just become like part of my daily life in the past few years, and like I love all of these things and I don't want to give them up, but I think when I was younger I was able to put all of my focus into reading, whereas now I'll read for maybe an hour and then I'll be like, I should really go do that other thing. And I also just like am a slow reader in general. I know people who just like whip through books and it blows my mind. Like the fact that I've read half this book today, not even, because I still have the ending. It's very good for me. If I can finish my Romanceathon like 3 books to get the tasks, that will be very impressive for me. So I'm gonna go take a bath because I had needles in my back last night. Just fun physio things. My spine was also shifted back into place because spines just sometimes don't do what they're supposed to do. So sitting in bed and reading all day, as much as my brain has enjoyed it, my body's not too happy with me. Oh, but I can read in the bath. I'm so used to having like giant books that I literally can't hold because it hurts my wrists. Like Kingdom of Ash in the bathtub. No. This book I can definitely make do, so I'll probably finish it in the next hour. We'll keep you updated, maybe. I am thoroughly enjoying the chapter names. We have Wicked here, We have some Sound of Music, we've had Hamilton, we've had Taylor Swift. I really do appreciate the lyrics. I do. My hair is not cute today, whatever. Okay, Romanceathon was a bit of a bust. I didn't realize it ended tomorrow. I thought it ended in 2 more days. So I thought I had lots of time. I'm halfway through Yes, No, Maybe So. I read a whole chunk of it yesterday. I read a bit this morning, but I was out all day, so I didn't have today to read. I was at my grandma's for most of the day. And last night, I discovered the Frozen 2 docuseries on Disney Plus, and I'm obsessed with it. And it's gonna take me at least 4 hours to finish this book, and I am going to watch another episode of the Frozen documentary. I can't help myself. So it's not gonna happen tonight. I might finish it in the morning, but I can't stay up and read as late as I would normally read because we have contractors coming at 8 in the morning and it's going to be very loud, which means I need to go to bed earlier than usual. I finished 1 book. 1.5 books. I was planning on doing 4. Fantasyathon started yesterday. What day is it even? Oh my gosh, no. Fantasyathon started like 2 days ago. So I'm about 8 chapters into Black Girl Unlimited. And then I think maybe once I finish Yes, No, Maybe So, I think I'm going to start reading A Court of Thorns and Roses because I do want to continue with this Sarah J. Maas self-a-thon that I've been doing. And if I can finish that one by the end of the week, I'll have taken off a chunk of the challenges for Fantasyathon at least. Romanceathon, let's see, I did a book released in 2020, if I can finish this. Pictures on the cover, got that one. New to Me authors, that was also Again But Better. So that's 3 challenges, I think, out of 5. Favorite trope. Well, technically, Again But Better was traveling and falling in love, so that's kind of a favorite trope, but not really. I really wanted to read, what's it called? It's by Christina Forrest. It came out last year. Wherever You Go, where it's 5 words. It pretty much covered the entire challenge for me. It was not 2020. Yeah, picture in the title, 5 words in the title, and it was a road trip romance, which is one of my favorite tropes, so I'm so sad. My library doesn't have it. I haven't been able to go to the bookstore, so it was a bit of a bust, but that's okay. Maybe Fantasyathon we can knock off some of the challenges and see where that leaves us. I forgot to do an update today. I'm getting ready to crawl into bed for the night way earlier than usual. It's only 10 p.m. and I'm gonna start reading because I need to get a head start on my reading. As predicted, I finished Yes, No, Maybe So. I thought it was super cute. I kind of wish it wouldn't be branded as a romance book because I think it's actually a lot more focused on like youth in today's society and politics. I highly recommend reading it. I found parts of it to be very informative and parts of it to be very relatable. It definitely leans towards a Democratic side very heavily, so I didn't have any problems with that. Some people might. And the romance was very cute. Like, it definitely got my heart. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I don't know if it was just the writing style itself or what, but something didn't quite sit perfectly with me. But I did love it, flew through it, great read. Now, I cannot believe I'm about to do this. I'm about to read A Court of Thorns and Roses, which has been the plan since like April. The moment I finished Crescent City, my plan was to just reread the A Court of Thorns and Roses series right away because I haven't read the books since they came out. But as I'm holding this book in my hand, I just want to skip this one. And I loved this when it came out. Like, I loved it. I flew through it. I got it from the library, and then we were on a trip at the time, and I literally made my parents go to a bookstore so I could buy my own copy. Like, I loved this book. But once you've read the rest of the series, the first book just ain't it. it feels like a very long prequel. It is a prequel to the series, basically. Like, it's not branded that way, but that's what it is. I have to do it. I know I'll probably enjoy it, but I just want to get to the good stuff, and that's still a whole book away. So I think I'm gonna really push through this one. Okay, I need to start reading because my plan is to hopefully read this one in 2 to 3 days. Oh my god, it's not that long. It's shorter than the book I just read. So this one's only 400 pages, it looks like, so doable. 3 days is doable, maybe 2. Not including today. We'll see how far I get tonight. We have the construction workers coming back again tomorrow morning really early, which means I have to go to bed at a decent hour tonight. Not that I did that last night, but sleep is important. Get your sleep, guys. Good for your mental health, I promise you. Now that school's out, it's just like a whole mess, so. Time to read. Fantasyathon. Here we go. Oh, also, I'm still listening to the audiobook of Black Girl Unlimited. I was just taking a bath listening to that one, so 2 books at a time. I'm a real rebel. No, I'm not. I'm just usually not the type of person who does 2 books at a time because I'm weird. Anyway, I should go read. I need to stop talking. See you guys soon, like right now in the video. Okay, I didn't get terribly far into the book last night. We are slowly but surely making progress. I am enjoying it more than I thought I would, but it's still really hard to read knowing where the series goes. How rude. I am trying to do a reading update. Anyway, it is cold today. Happy end of June. My plan was to read all day, but I'm just the worst at doing that. I cannot marathon books. I can't do it. I used to be able to when I was younger. I don't know what it is now. Maybe my attention span is like shorter. I don't know, but it's really difficult for me to sit down as long as I used to be able to. I can only do that at nighttime, and then I read too late, and it's a problem. But during the day, it's difficult because as I'm reading, I'm like, ooh, I want to go work on that story I'm writing, and I just like get ideas, and then I want to go do it, and then I'll see like my friends are texting me, and I'll feel bad. It's just, ugh. Is this what being an adult is? Because I don't like it. I turned 21 in a few weeks, less than that, and I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to be older than all of these YA characters. Right now, I'm Feyre's age in the next book, and I don't like the idea of being older. I don't want it. Oh, okay. This has turned into like a crisis, so I'm gonna put this down. We made it. Literally with an hour to spare. Hello. Okay, final update because it is now July 5th and Fantasyathon ended on the 2nd. I have been a mixture of busy, but mostly just keeping myself busy because this has been one of those weeks where I'm just feeling a little down about everything that's going on. Yeah, last night would have been the opening night of a show that I was supposed to be in for the entire summer, and it was a theater company I've been dreaming of working for in my hometown since I was a kid, and this was going to be my first production with them, so it's just been a little rough this week, but that's okay. Hamilton came out, so I got to get together with my classmates who most of them I haven't seen since March. And I just love these people so much. They're basically my second family. Like, we went through this university musical theater training program together for 3 years, and it was very intense, and we were with each other like 6 days of the week. And so not seeing them was really hard. So getting to see them and watching Hamilton. I love Hamilton so much. So it was, you know, it's been like a roller coaster. Friday I was gonna do this update, but then I ended up spending 7 hours in the kitchen baking, trying to accommodate to the different allergies and diets in my class. So it was just like, my brain got fried. Luckily, that was the 3rd of July, and because I was baking all day, I did finish the audiobook of Black Girl Unlimited because I got to listen to the ending of it while I was baking. Unfortunately, that was one day too late to count for Fantasyathon. But let's see, Fantasyathon, what did I accomplish? Black Girl Unlimited checked off a lot of the challenges for me. So even though it was a day late, at the end of it all, I technically finished all the challenges, just not in time. But Black Girl Unlimited was a diverse fantasy, it was a debut, and it was in a format I don't normally read. As I mentioned before, it was in an audiobook. And then ACOTAR, that I did finish by July 2nd, was a hype train fantasy. The last one was start a new series or read on in a series, and I started ACOMAF, A Court of Mist and Fury, for those who don't know these weird words that are coming out of my mouth. I also didn't finish ACOMAF. I'm still reading it right now, so I didn't really accomplish a lot for the actual readathon. It did expose me to some really great stories, including like ones that I just have been meaning to pick up and haven't, as well as just stories I normally wouldn't be reading this time of year when I want to be reading more like contemporary romance. Black Girl Unlimited was incredible. It was so powerful and moving. A lot of it was very, I don't know if eye-opening is the right word, but also it's different reading about something and actually like hearing it narrated. So I actually found the audiobook to be very impactful in that sense, hearing this author narrate her own stories. I do believe that the book is semi-biographical, and the fantasy element to it, so good. It was so good. I don't know, I don't want to talk too much about it because I think it's one of those books that you need to just go into and read. Definitely recommend it. Rereading ACOTAR was actually a lot more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. I loved it. The first half I had to kind of force myself into, and then the second half was just such a good time. And now, reading ACOMAF is just, it's such a joyful experience. Like, I know that this is my favorite book, but I really have not read it from start to finish, except for the first time I read it 4 years ago. And I don't know why I haven't done that, because this book is just so incredible. I'm only a few hundred pages into it, and it just makes me so happy. Like, I have squealed and laughed out loud so many times just because I love these characters and I think it's so funny, and also it's just, I don't know, this book came along in my life at a time where I really needed to see a young woman who had been through it pick herself back up and who was supported by others. And I remember reading this book for the first time and being like, oh my gosh, I understood a lot of her feelings. I obviously haven't been through the same situations because it's a little, you know, and do in fact not live in a fantastical fairy world, unfortunately. But I needed a book desperately about healing, and I didn't know it until I read this book. And yeah, I'm just very immensely grateful for this book, but also it's just such a joy to read. It's such a good experience. Yeah, I'm having a good time. So yeah, like I said, it's been a wild week. It's been a roller coaster of emotions. I am enjoying having more time to read and to write and to be with my family, so I'm trying to take that in and enjoy that. Miranda and I have a lot of videos planned to be coming out over the next few weeks that we're really excited about. I also just got new bookshelves. It's my graduation present from my parents. I'm so excited. So we still have to put those together, but I think I might do a vlog either of like getting the shelves in and like redoing that section of my room, or I'll do a bookshelf tour. So let me know in the comments below what you want. If you participated in Romanceathon or Fantasyathon or any of the many readathons happening right now, How did you do? Probably better than me. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.